Let's turn now to the second part of this OET listening practice extract, and we're going to look through questions 18 through 24. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, I recommend going back to that first, completing that, and then joining us now. And don't look too closely at the answers. Go do that practice and then come back for this second round here. Now, what I said in the first video there was not only to listen for the answer, but to listen for the clues to confirm it and also to warn us it's coming. So let's keep that in mind. We will listen to it first and then go back, look at the answers and look at those clues together. So here we go. We're going to start in this section just before the diagnosis there.
And what did your GP say when you saw him?
He ordered various blood and urine tests, and at one point he thought I might have contracted Lyme disease because I do enjoy my walks in the countryside, and a couple of the symptoms seemed similar. The tests didn't point to anything.
Right.
I saw a different doctor and he speculated about possible lupus and explained what it was. He wasn't totally convinced though. The lack of certainty was upsetting and just made matters worse.
And then you had further tests?
Yeah, the diagnosis became more definite when they did a pathogy test. I had such a strong reaction that it seemed to be like the final piece in the jigsaw puzzle.
Right. And then you were referred here?
Yes, and I've had to see various specialists to deal with the different symptoms. I was given some immunosuppressants straight away, though they did warn me that there was the possibility of side effects. I know it can be like that with almost every drug, but I didn't expect to suffer the way I did. Basically, I had a lot of abdominal pain, and would you believe it, some of my hair started to drop out.
Right. So that treatment was discontinued?
Yes, I was told that biological therapies would probably be more effective. Is that right? I haven't reacted in the same way to this new treatment, at least not so far. There have certainly been no strange side effects. I feel a little better overall.
Okay. Now, I believe you're seeing the ophthalmologist this morning.
Yeah, she's going to give me some corticosteroid eye drops. And the other urgent problem right now is getting to grips with the headaches. Your colleagues have put me on beta blockers. I'm hoping they'll prevent these headaches developing in the first place.
Yes, they should work well. Now, we just need to discuss your recurring joint pain and see what we can do to ease them.
All right, so like we anticipated in that first video, we heard lots more about tests and medications here. And I would just say, as a good rule of thumb, whenever you hear a medication or a test, assume it could be an answer unless it is already given. So for example, blood and urine tests, Lyme disease, those are already listed there. Or if they then refute that as the answer, so they give you a distractor basically where it sounds like it's this test or this medication, but it's actually another. But every single word you hear like that should be a possible candidate until it's confirmed that it's something else, if that makes sense. So let's go through this. And it was quite a quick, we heard the blood and urine and Lyme and then got right into number 18. So I'll just reread that. So we have, he ordered various blood and urine tests and at one point he thought I might have contracted Lyme disease because I do enjoy my walks in the countryside and a couple of the symptoms seemed similar. The tests didn't point to anything. I saw a different doctor, so that's our cue, we're into number 18, and he speculated about possible lupus. So again, speculated about possible, that's your cue to confirm there, the clue that it's lupus as your answer. And this one's nice, there isn't other options that are presented there. Sometimes you might hear, he thought it was lupus, but it was confirmed that it wasn't. Instead, he thought it was this after. And there's sometimes that vagueness of, okay, which one is it that he currently thinks it could be, as you can see. Another example that's a little bit clearer is he confirmed that it wasn't this. However, he thought it could or possibly be this. So listen out for those contrasts. Often the language in there makes us confused because it's when they present multiple options, it can be hard to hear that. Okay, so we have lupus and explained what it was. He wasn't totally convinced though. So again, that confirms this part about the could be this. The lack of certainty was upsetting and just made matters worse. Okay, notice the same thing as what we saw in the previous video. We get the answer, and then we get a comment on the feeling or response. And usually that feeling or response is from the patient or the doctor. So the lack of certainty was upsetting. That's how he felt about not having a firm diagnosis and made matters worse. As soon as you notice this, you'll really hear it, that answer, comment, answer, comment. And really the important thing there is listen for the answer, of course. Don't get so focused on how he feels about it. A lot of the time they're not asking you about the reaction to it. Okay. Then she asks him, and then you had further tests, and he says, yes, the diagnosis became more definite. So that should really set off an alarm there. Okay, confirmed, it becomes definite when they did a pathergy test. So that one, again, pathergy. The article here is optional, but you do need both parts there, the first and the second, pathergy and then test. So we're listening again for that definitive language. And then he comments, I had such a strong reaction that it seemed to be like the final piece in the jigsaw puzzle. So two ways that we hear that definite and this idea of solving the jigsaw puzzle. And you, of course, you don't have to do anything with these. These aren't the answers. These are just clues that confirm our answer and make us confident we found it there. All right, let's keep going and see what else we heard. So she says, right, and then you were referred here. And then he says, yes, and I've had to see various specialists to deal with the different symptoms. I was given some immunosuppressants straight away. So given, you'll often hear the patient describe, I'm taking this, I was given this, they put me on this. Very informal ways of basically saying, I was prescribed or we commence these medications. So expect that when you hear those give, put on, taking, those are often your clues there. And of course, we heard immunosuppressants. That's a long one to spell. So I've given this tip before, but if you're really struggling with how to spell it, actually being able to put the answer before moving on to the next question, what you can do, and it's important you actually, when there's time, very briefly at the end, you actually write the full answer. But if you need to write a short form, let's say you put just immuno S, for example, while you're listening, of course, you have to put the full answer to get it correct. But sometimes if you're so focused on trying to spell immunosuppressants, you're going to miss 21 and 22. So just keep that in mind as a tip there. The other thing is with quantities, if you hear them say like I was prescribed, some, a lot, a few, usually those words are completely optional. So you just need immunosuppressants to be correct for the answer there. All right, so he was given some immunosuppressants straight away, though they did warn me that there was the possibility of side effects. So now we're into 21. I know it can be like that with almost every drug, but I didn't expect to suffer the way I did. So again, commenting on how he feels about this situation or his reaction to it. Basically, I had a lot of abdominal pain, and would you believe it, some of my hair started to drop out. So there we go. We have hair loss is touched upon. All right. Some of my hair started to drop out. Again, phrasal verb drop out or to lose that hair. And then abdominal pain. Abdominal pain. And like what I said, when you hear a medication or when you hear in this case, a symptom here, assume it could be a possible answer. When you hear it, there should be a spark, a sense of that's a possibility, unless confirmed otherwise. Because if you look back at all of our answers, a lot of these are a couple descriptors, but a lot of these are just common or like tests or symptoms or medications here. Okay, let's keep going. And would you believe it? Some of my hair started to drop out. That was the last comment. So she says, right, so that treatment was discontinued as a question. And again, often the question tells us we're moving into the next part here. So number 22, he says, yes, I was told that biological therapies would probably be more effective. Is that right? I haven't reacted in the same way to this new treatment. So what's tricky there, we don't hear that it's the new treatment until after we get the answer there. And then he comments on the side effects. So again, rule of thumb, assume when you hear different kinds of treatments, they are potential answers there. Biological therapies is the answer. Even if you have to wait to confirm it is the one he's currently on there. So we hear, again, he says, at least not so far. There have certainly been no strange side effects. I feel a little better overall. So that confirms no side effects reported. That's what we're listening for. Okay, let's keep going. So she says, okay, now I believe you're seeing the ophthalmologist this morning. So that's our cue. We are into the next section here. We're listening for those keywords. And we hear, yes, she's going to give me. So again, give as that often for prescription, or in this case, administration. There. She's going to give me some corticosteroid eye drops. So some is optional, you don't have to put that, but you do need the corticosteroid eye drops here. And again, those 3 pieces are needed. It's quite a long one. So with these longer ones, if you need to, while you're listening, put a quick short form. You don't have very long at the end, only about 10-15 seconds before moving on, but it is enough to go back to 1 or maybe 2 and quickly write that answer in. Okay, and lastly, so the corticosteroid eye drops, and the other urgent problem right now is getting to grips with the headaches. So getting to grips, it's an expression, basically being able to manage them. The nice thing here, you don't need to know the expressions to find the answer. So if you hear things you don't know, that's fine. However, if you do know these expressions, it certainly helps give you confidence that you've found the answer or you're on track there. So we hear after that, they've been increasing recently. Okay, so we have increasing and talking about getting to grips with the headache. So we know we're into 24. We hear those keywords, and again, I'll check those off there. And then we hear, your colleagues have put me on beta blockers. I'm hoping they'll prevent these headaches developing in the first place. Okay, so swapping of information. I've talked about this in previous videos. This idea that the headaches and their increasing number, we hear that first in the audio, and it's not until he then says that, then we get what he's been prescribed. And the answer there is beta blockers in that way. Okay. And then he finishes by saying, I'm hoping they'll prevent these headaches developing in the first place. Yes, they should work well, she says. Now we just need to discuss your recurring joint pain and see what we can do to ease that. And then it fades in the background. So really often I find when we get to the end here, some of these words are a little bit easier to hear in terms of you hear a medication, you hear a treatment, but actually being able to figure out, one, which question does it belong to, especially when you have multiple different prescriptions here, keeping track of who's giving what, and often it's logical what it's being given for, so we can use our knowledge there based on the logic behind it. But in other extracts, sometimes it's not always so clear exactly which medication's for what, and there's sometimes a bit of confusion. So you have to listen carefully for those other clues that will tell you in that way. Okay, a couple questions for you as we wrap up. First one is, which part did you find easier? Questions 13 through 17 or questions 18 through 24? And I'm curious because if you found this second set easier, that could be because, well, there's a lot of technical words throughout, but there's a little bit more focus here on some bigger words that are easier to hear. Some of the shorter words, for example, acne or even the word discolored or ulcers, the shorter ones, because they're said quickly, can be challenging to hear. The longer ones, there's more time to actually recognize those sounds. So that's one thing to think about. And the other thing is, the first part's more about the description of the condition and symptoms. Later on, we do have a few symptoms, but it's more about, again, what we see, the actual diagnosis, the testing, and the treatments and therapies. So all of these questions you should be asking yourself to get a sense of, what are you struggling with? What are you not hearing? And how do we improve that? How do we focus on those things? And then I just want to make a comment, because somebody asked this question below one of my YouTube videos. And if you're watching this, I hope this helps. But when you look at plurals, so singular versus plural, in English, it's really, really hard to hear the S, especially when people are speaking quickly. But if you're not sure if it's singular or plural, a good rule of thumb is, as you're listening, listen for the articles. So for example, let's go back to number 13, for example, 15, and what other one? Even 22 and 23. So those are all plural. 18, lupus, just has an S on it. And arthritis for 17 also just has an S as part of the word. But listen really carefully. I'll just read you the part right before the answer. So we hear, I had 3 or 4 separate lots of mouth ulcers. We don't hear a mouth ulcer or one or the. So by default, if you don't hear that, usually it's plural. Now we have to be careful. Conditions such as acne, we don't pluralize it. Like we don't say acnes. It's just, we describe, it's a non-countable noun. So there is some of that grammar as part of it. Listen to 15 with the skin lesions. So what do we hear there? That is coming just in here. Around the same time, I noticed these, that's your plural marker, these slight skin lesions. If it was singular, we would hear a skin lesion, or I noticed this skin lesion, one. But if you hear words like these, or you hear words like episodes of, often it's plural in that way. Okay, listen to number 20 is also pluralized there. So let's go to the immunosuppressants. The language there, I was given some. Okay, so some default is more than one, right? So some immunosuppressants. So it needs to be plural because of that we see there. Biological therapies, what did we hear? I was told that biological therapies would probably be more effective. So really, back to this rule, if you don't hear an article a or the, and it's not a non-countable noun, such as, acne, then it likely has an S on it, being plural. Let's do drops and beta blockers as well. So corticosteroid drops, what do we hear there? We heard, she's going to give me some corticosteroid eye drops. That's your cue there. And usually what happens with multiple part words, like look at biological therapies as well, usually the last one gets the plural. Usually we don't pluralize the corticosteroids eye drops. We just pluralize the last one. And the beta blockers. They've been increasing recently. Your colleague have put me on beta blockers. We would hear a beta blocker. And so often with medications, you don't just take it once. Like it's a repetition happening more than once. We've seen this with antibiotics. So often, if you're not sure, most of the time it's plural, although you have to be careful with the exceptions that we mentioned, especially if you're not hearing any article, but you don't hear the S, chances are there was an S, it was very quiet or soft. So I hope that helps for those that were asking about that. All right, so more strategies for OET listening part A. I am going to also try to make some more videos there for the listening part C was requested frequently, as were reading part A and reading part C. So I hope these are helpful. Continue to let me know what you're looking for. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below how you did on this and click that notification bell so you are updated when I release those videos, and I will see you in the next one.